or the so-called Super League. But there are fears that while it will increase the prosperity of the top clubs, it could spell the end for the rest, many of whom are already in dire financial straits. Our reporter John Shires has been to two clubs at the opposite end of the spectrum to investigate.
The dream of everyone involved in football. Player, manager, director, spectator. Their team, the centre of the nation's attention. A capacity crowd, a huge TV audience, passion, excitement, euphoria. But this is the reality of much of professional football in England. Small crowds, poor facilities, clubs struggling on and off the field. In a survey conducted this week, we asked all 17 Football League clubs in the Calendar region whether or not they're operating at a profit. Only 3 replied yes, Leeds United and the 2 Sheffield clubs. 2, Scarborough and Halifax, said they're breaking even. The other 12 are all losing money week by week. Of those 12, the plight of 4th Division Doncaster Rovers is the most acute. Earlier this year, Doncaster was £650,000 in debt and only staved off a winding-up order issued by the Inland Revenue, who were owed £235,000, by selling 2 of their best players.
Well, at the moment, because it's a vicious circle, I mean, we've had 2 home games and both crowds collectively have not brought us in 3,000 people. The people won't come back unless the team is winning and playing attractive football. It's very difficult to get a winning team and a team that plays attractively when you've got to consistently sell your better players.
Saturday, February the 15th, Aldershot, a club with even more pressing financial problems, arrived to play Doncaster. They too face winding-up orders. Their players haven't been paid for 6 weeks. They've only been able to fulfil the fixture because their fans have had a collection to pay for the hire of the team bus.
We need help, badly. But I mean, I'd say every other club's in for it. There's 6 clubs who I know is in trouble. We need help badly, and I think we could be the first one in 92 to go.
Meanwhile, Rovers have been forced to sell off plots of their Bellevue pitch to remain in business. So far, their fighting fund has raised £17,000. For the office staff at Doncaster, the name of the game is survival. We've compared Doncaster's financial position with that of Leeds United, currently the region's most successful club. Last year, Doncaster Rovers' turnover was just under £800,000. Leeds United's was £7 million. Last summer, Doncaster's season ticket sales were worth £27,000. Leeds were worth £3.5 million. This season, Doncaster will receive around £30,000 from the game's television contracts. Leeds will receive around £1 million, more than Doncaster's entire annual turnover. Nothing illustrates their relative positions more graphically than Leeds United's new £1.5 million conference centre. It opens in April and will boost the club's commercial income way beyond its current level of £3 million a year. In stark contrast, Doncaster are relying on handouts for their very survival. And even if they survive this immediate crisis, some believe it will only be a temporary reprieve. In August, the new FA Premier Division, the so-called Super League, kicks off. Its critics say it's motivated by greed, with the top clubs grabbing the lion's share of revenue in the game, leaving the rest to feed off scraps. Brendan Ormsby has played for both Leeds and Doncaster.
All they're interested in is trying to make an elite group of clubs. And I think it will eventually affect all the rest of the teams in the 3rd and 4th, especially the 3rd and 4th division. That's where they get the young players coming from. You see the Liverpools and Man United buying players from the 3rd and 4th division.
It's not to help the England team or to help this. It's just greed. As I think, it's greed. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer.
But the men who've been pressing for the Premier Division, like Leeds United's managing director Bill Fotherby, believe those comments are alarmist.
Well, there'll be television for the smaller clubs. They will have revenue. They will do well. They will have their own commercial side. They will do their own deals, which will not involve the Premier League. So there's one division less for them to share out what they will get.
So you don't think it'll have any detrimental effect whatsoever?
Personally, I don't. I think they'll benefit.
But the figures show that the chasm between the haves and the have-nots will undoubtedly widen. At the moment, clubs outside the First Division receive a total of £10 million from the various league, FA and television pools. Under the new FA Premier Division plan, they'll get only £3 million. That's a shortfall of £7 million. The Football League now has the task of marketing a product without its most attractive selling point.
A great deal depends on the attitude of the Football League. There's a tremendous amount of potential out there. And it's not the Premier League or the FA that will stop the Football League reaching those opportunities. It will be the Football League itself.
But is the game in the lower reaches of the Football League really viable? Brian Marwood, seen scoring here for Sheffield United, is the secretary of the Professional Footballers Association, the players' trade union. He believes the league must consider regionalisation.
I think it's viable if we restructure. I think we seriously need to look at restructuring, whether we need to do it on a regional basis and create more local derbies, whether we do it with hopefully the finance that will be coming into football soon. But it worries me that sometimes finance are put into the hands of people who don't use it properly.
What's needed then is a healthy dose of financial realism.
Probably got to go part-time, and this is up to the club itself, obviously. But my own personal opinion is that ourselves and most of the other clubs have got to go part-time. And you pay your wages you can afford, and you don't pay things you can't afford.
I feel that in the hands of the right people, this game has got a great future, but it has to be handled correctly, and that worries me at the moment.
We're not a Leeds United, we're not a Manchester United, we're Doncaster Rovers, and we've got to realise this and get the foundations right and the wage structure right, and then we can get everything going as we were wishing.
But despite the club's motto in the dressing room, there's still doubt about whether the new spirit of realism is too late for Doncaster and others like them, caught as they are in a downward spiral of dwindling gates and increasing debt.